Hello, Midnight Tourists. I am Amber.
I'm Amy.
And I'm Joe.
And this is our monthly mixer. So this is an episode where the three of us kind of get to sit back and do a little chit chat after the rest of our episodes for this month. So if you have not watched the episodes for July yet, I would highly recommend doing that because there might be light spoilers ahead. But in this episode, we're going to be talking about a few odds and end topics that could not quite fit into our regularly scheduled episodes. And for July, I will be talking about synchronicity.
I will be talking about Robert William Fisher.
And I will be talking about monoliths. Some interesting topics we got going on here. I am wondering where synchronicity came from.
Yeah. I will. Well, all right. So I guess fuck it. I guess that's our segue. I'm going first. So
there you go.
To start off, synchronicity, and I almost said my topic was like signs. But then it was like, I don't want that to get conflated with the M. Night Shyamalan movie. So we're going to go synchronicity, right? So
I mean, we could talk for half an hour about signs. Let's be honest.
Oh God, I don't want
I will die on the hill that is an enjoyable movie. I can go back and watch it over and over again.
It's not a bad movie. It's not a bad movie. It just like it gets funnier the older it gets, honestly.
Yes, absolutely.
It's just so, and it's so memeable. Like it's just it's so easy to make jokes about signs that like you almost can't watch it seriously anymore, you know?
I know. It's like a Rocky Horror Picture Show at this point.
Yes. But okay, signs is not my topic. Signs is not my topic, but I do have to know your guys' weigh in on are the monsters aliens or demons?
In Signs?
Yeah. Have you seen that theory?
No.
Yeah, I saw.
I hear about this.
Okay, so the theory is that they're not actually aliens. It's not actually an alien invasion. It's a demon, like demons running loose, and that's why the water is what defeats them. It's not all water. It's that water because he was a priest, so it's holy water. Since the rest of the movie is about him struggling with his faith, like him finding the signs, whatever. So is it about like, you know, I mean, kind of fits into a topic too with other signs, but like, is it about like, seeing the signs and things just happen for a reason and like sometimes things will be okay? Or is it actually an allegory for losing faith, using demons?
Yeah, I mean, it could go either way. For me, I still kind of follow along the alien theme because they do talk a little bit about in the movie, like the understanding that water is their weakness. And I don't see anything discussing like it being holy water. It's just like rain came and suddenly they all disappeared from this area. Like it doesn't sound totally holy water-ish with them dispersing and using it against them in the rest of the planet, essentially. The very little snippets that we get of that. Not much, but enough that it's like, it doesn't lean as much towards the holy water thing, but I could see where that would be a theory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You have to find someone who can bless the entire fucking planet's water.
Exactly.
And I don't think any human being has that power.
Just a chain of those priests linking arms.
One of those mega churches to get on and just be like, I have blessed every ounce of water on the planet.
Yeah.
No. And the crop circles. Like, what? If it's demons, what the heck do the crop circles have to do with anything? Unless it's just demons going like, ha, let's fuck with these people.
Let's fuck with these
people. Could have been their portals from hell.
That could be their portals. The portals from hell are the real crop circles. That's the...
But I think the crops would have like been burnt up if that was the case too. Mm-hmm. So...
But also, I mean, look at where the crop circles pop up. Like, I mean, the Midwest in the middle of a cornfield. Yeah, that's kind of hellish. Like, absolutely.
That is a portal.
Yeah. If there was a portal to hell, I think that might be it.
No, I do actually agree with you guys. I like the alien take a lot better myself personally. But I saw that one and I like read a thing about it because I was like, what the heck? And I was like, huh, kind of. But then at the same time, like, Yeah. Sometimes M. Night Shyamalan, though, I'm like, sometimes I don't know that he has one consistent thought for his movies from the start to the finish. So also,
Probably
I'm like,
not.
this might be a case where we're reading too much into it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we're giving him way too much credit.
A little bit too much credit, yeah.
It's like the old example of an English teacher saying, why do you think the curtains were blue? I don't know, they were fucking blue. Oh no, it was to represent depression and sadness and the allegory for the time frame that no, they were just fucking blue because the author liked blue. I don't know what to do. No one knows.
What if the author liked the color blue?
The author looked over and they have blue curtains on their window, so they're like, the curtains were blue.
Yeah. There you go.
That's funny. No, I always thought that was so funny. God, English was a drag most of the time. Always for that reason too. And my favorite was always when English teachers would be like, don't talk about the authors if you know them personally. It's like, bitch, you do that shit all the time. Like, what kind of a double standard do we got going on here?
You act like you're in their mind all the time.
Mm-hmm. Like you just live there. Like you're a new emotion and Inside Out. Like you just rent free in their head all the time.
English teacher emotion. That's fucking creepy.
Oh god,
a horrible one. I feel like it's just like yeah. You're right. I don't want to go down that thought process. I don't want to picture any of my English teachers inside my head. Circling back, synchronicity, signs, other signs. But synchronicity is, for anyone who doesn't know, and I've got it on Google, so I'm reading it, sue me. The simultaneous occurrence of events which appear significantly related but have no discernible causal connection. So essentially, kind of like, for me, I think that's kind of like signs where you just kind of see the same thing in multiple places, and then you're like, huh. I think there's synchronicity in general, like very basic terms, is like just a coincidence description, like, that has happened a lot or that's popped up a lot, but in kind of the more, in kind of the more loosey-goosey interpretation, some people take it to be more of like a sign or something like that. Like, oh, maybe I'm seeing this so many times for a reason. And this is, so the reason this came up for me personally in my Jerome thing, and I was never going to bring it up in the episode because it's like a personal experience, so it just doesn't really fit. But I got to thinking about it and I was like, I wonder if Amy and Joe have ever had this kind of experience. But last time I personally went to Jerome, because I do love the city, I went on a solo trip many, many years ago. I haven't been back for a long time. But I just went on a solo day trip to like kind of get out, and like I, didn't even do a lot of like ghost stuff. I was just kind of there during the day as like a very artsy thing. And this is going to make me sound like maybe like an internet meme. But around the same time, so one of my childhood favorite animals is wolves. Around the same time, I had been having dreams about being lost in the woods and having like a wolf essentially guide me out of the woods. And I was like, that's a cool dream. I like wolves. I had also kind of taken that energy and had started working on, I had started seeing things, what was it? For like Little Red Riding Hood, like just was popping up everywhere. So I was like, I'm going to start writing a poem inspired by that. And like, so that was there. Again, girls and wolves. So I take my day trip up to Jerome. And as I'm going through talking to one of the super cool local artists in one of the shops there, I notice she is selling a t-shirt of Little Red Riding Hood and a wolf. But instead of it being like a scary t-shirt, it's Little Red Riding Hood riding the wolf out of the woods. And for me, that was just like, still have no idea, like if it's like if it was like a larger sign for me in some capacity, other than just being like, hey, lean into being an artsy bitch, I guess. But for me, I just like, I remember doing like a double take because I was like, this kind of imagery is popping up a lot in my life right at this moment. I have no idea why, but like, that's kind of neat. So anyway, all it really led to that I can discernibly say is that I bought that t-shirt. But
maybe that's what you were meant to do.
Maybe that's all it was. I don't know.
Just a pivotal point in your life was buying this t-shirt. Otherwise, it would have screwed up the whole timeline.
I think you're right. You're right. This was pre my toddler, so we don't know. Not pre Brett, but pre toddler, so we don't know. But no, I mean, thinking back on it too, though, I remember really loving Jerome, like that last visit, and like especially looking around and being like, wow, I love how artsy the town is. I love how many small independent shops there are in the town, and my attitude has steadily grown over the years. I'm not attributing it to this directly. I'm just saying, like, now looking backwards at connections and what it can mean, my attitude steadily over the years has been more and more of supporting local and independent artists in the state, and like shops and merchants and stuff like that. So maybe that was all the sign was, is like, there is cool stuff being done and cool people making stuff in Phoenix, and start looking into those circles. But so yeah, I don't know. That's just pure speculation many years later. But that was my, and I have like little moments like that too, where it's like things will just pop up and I'll be like, huh. And then I'll be like, I should maybe think about whether or not that means something in my life personally. And then I forget about it until we have a podcast many years later. So, so my question to you ladies is like, has anything like that ever happened to you? Have you guys ever had like moments of synchronicity where you just kind of keep seeing a sign repeated, and maybe later on think like, oh, it was telling me this, or it led me to this thing, or still don't know what it means?
Yes and no. So it's not so much like a synchronicity in necessarily real life. It's more of like a dream synchronicity for me. And it's been going on for quite a few years, where like water is just a major theme. No matter what I'm doing in the dream, for some reason, there's just water. Kind of like the area is flooded, but no one's upset about it or concerned with it. It's just how it is. It's like, I don't know why that keeps showing up. I do like water. I do like taking beach vacations and going to the pool to hang out with friends and whatnot, but I have no other idea why water is such like a prominent thing in my dreams. So if someone can tell me why, go ahead and leave a comment.
Yes, please do. Just in the comments, I want everybody's dream interpretations of what water means. Please.
Why am I always in a flooded area?
I was going to say, are you feeling like you're treading water constantly in life right now?
Constantly.
Just seriously trying not to drown?
I haven't taken my anxiety meds yet today.
Oh my god.
So every time Joe sees water, the synchronicity is just like the universe saying, bitch, take your meds.
Yeah, take your meds, please. I love it.
Could be.
Yeah, I'm gonna preface this by saying, I think it is a thing, but I think it is a human mind thing. I think that, especially for those who maybe don't do therapy, or don't, you know what I'm saying? Don't do very traditional ways of healing the mind. I feel like your mind is searching for things humans like things to make sense. They like to bucket things. They like to organize things. And so I think that when your mind is struggling with something, you see connections that maybe aren't even there, or are no more prominent than other times, but it's just your brain's way of struggling and trying to make sense of something, in my opinion.
So like tarot cards or shadow work.
Yeah.
Spicy psychology, essentially.
Spicy psychology.
You see what you want in the meaning of the cards.
Exactly. Yes. So like my example is, I adored my father-in-law, and he was very different from me though, like very, very different. And we just always had a really great relationship, and he always used to kid with me because he was very religious and I'm not. That he needed to get me to church. He needed me to find Jesus. Like he would just always tease me about it. And I was like, yeah, Dad, whatever. You're crazy. That's never going to happen. And he passed very quickly from cancer, and I missed him a lot, and I kind of struggled. I didn't get to go see him before he passed. I couldn't leave. I was in school. I couldn't get the time off. And so I had a lot of guilt, and I was stressed about it. And I was at work one day. It was probably like within a couple weeks after he passed. And I was walking through, I worked at a furniture store, and I was walking through the warehouse, and I looked down, and in the middle of the warehouse floor, which was furniture again, it wasn't like random little bits and pieces, was a little wooden cross, like in the middle of the floor with nothing around it. And I was like, that's weird. And so I picked it up and I made a joke to my husband about, hey, I think your dad's trying to like send me a sign right now. But I was like, you know, being me, I was like, oh yeah, that's funny. And I threw it away, or I threw it in a drawer or something. I just ignored it. And literally like 1 week later, I looked down in the same warehouse on an empty spot of floor, and it was like a fancy, like filigreed metal cross on the ground. And I was like, what the hell? And Kyle's like, see, my dad knows weird. You. The other one wasn't fancy enough for you. He had to get your attention and make it like, he had to aimify it. And
bougie cross. Yeah.
Yes. I was like, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. So to me, I was like, that was my sign that, you know, my father-in-law was okay. And, you know, he forgave me for not coming to see him. But that was probably just me trying to heal my own brain and my own guilt.
So I love to say, because I go kind of on the fence. I'm very, you know, I believe in ghosts. I believe in the paranormal to an extent. I don't think everything is. I definitely like the spicy psychology take. I like the, you know, the take of like you can, because I think the human brain is a very powerful thing. I don't think that's actually diminishing anything by saying, oh, your brain is doing the work, because like, that might be all you need to really get yourself on track and make changes you need or get things done. Like, I think that is great and powerful. I think that there is maybe a blurred line at the very edge of that where I'm like, I can still see a little bit of maybe psychics exist, maybe the paranormal exists towards the edge of that. And all of that to preface, like, are you telling me right now that you did not chalk that up as an actual fucking paranormal encounter? Because that sounds like a ghost story to me.
I actually still have that cross in my jewelry box. So yes, I do. I attribute that to Papa King. Yep.
Okay. Because that is, because I've had, I mean, and this is a weird one for me, kind of like you, Joe, like a lot of my, so going vaguely tangentially off topic, I have and it's weird. Like I would never, I'm saying it now in context. I would never say like, I'm psychic or like any, I don't think so. But I do have a lot of moments of like strong intuition. And I've had especially a lot of very strong, very vivid dreams. And I've had experiences that I would classify as on that borderline of like, is this my brain or is this something more? But they're always more so in dreaming. So I'm always like hesitant to cross it further. But it's just funny knowing that you've had that experience with my grandfather, Papa King, because that's one of my two paranormal experiences is with him also. And it was in the middle of the night and a moment where it's like, I chalk it up to being a dream. At the time, it was one of those like in between states where I didn't know if I was awake or dreaming. And I saw him as a full figure essentially saying, I love you and goodbye. And like, that was the experience. And I just remember he was such a sweet guy. But I just remember that there was like a day after I had that, there were calls going around the family of several people saying like, hey, so this happened to me. And it turned out like a lot of us had more or less the same type of experience. So that one for me, I actually have chills right now. That one for me is like one of those things where I'm like, and you know, if there was a person who got like, good guy points in life and was like, yeah, sure, you can have a little visit before you go. I think it would. He definitely would have earned that chance.
Yeah, so. Yeah, for sure. And he liked to mess with people. So on top of
he gets that
bonus.
So he gets the extra little bonus of like, haha, you guys are all talking about me one more time.
Yep,
I'm freaking everybody out. Yeah.
Oh gosh,
I love it.
That's awesome.
And I think that's it. I am going to. You're going to see my phone for like a second because it dinged because I'm a terrible podcaster. I'm very irresponsible. Now it won't.
Well, I was leaning all over the place before, so you can't be as bad as me.
Yeah, we're fine. Yeah, this
and
is
then there goes
like,
my dog.
I know. This is the Mixer episodes, guys. These are like
super cash.
Super cash. These are our chit chat episodes. Like, you're gonna get to know us like uncomfortably well. If you don't like that,
uncomfortably again, knowing that like anxiety medication is taken on camera. That kind.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Don't do drugs unless your doctor prescribes them. And we're gonna caveat that one right there, so we don't get taken down.
For real.
Yeah, I think that. I think that's a wrap for me. That's really all I had was that like funny little memory. And I said, I just kind of want to check in. I was just kind of curious, like, have you guys ever had that? So
very cool. I like the conversation. I do. That was interesting.
I think we could honestly continue that conversation for hours.
I know. That's why I'm going to wrap it here.
I know.
A lot of my combos in some of these mixers are probably going to be like this. And you know what? If we ever have enough like other paranormal experiences and stuff, maybe we have like a whole bonus episode we can drop on Patreon for any of our patrons. If you want to go see us talk about paranormal experiences and dreams and such, join us there.
I love it. Or, if we run into a Bigfoot in Arizona.
Or if we run into a Bigfoot
could happen. Could
or
happen.
if we evade a serial killer. There are so many episodes that we could do.
So many things. You'll never know. We could actually finally go ghost hunting. You don't know. You don't know.
I think that
would be awesome.
That'd be really fun.
I agree.
We'll workshop it.
All right, I'm going to do mine because I feel like Joe's is maybe more along the lines of your topic, and I'd rather end up with Joe's than with mine. Mine's a little more concrete, so let's take a left turn and do something different. So I picked this dude, Robert William Fisher, mostly because I just did not have enough content to make an episode about him, but oh my God, this motherfucker. Like, that's all I'm gonna say is this motherfucker.
Yeah.
So it's a bit old. It's about 23 years old now. In 2001, Scottsdale police and firefighters got an alert about a house exploding in Scottsdale. So not just on fire, like there was like a propane explosion of some sorts at this house in Scottsdale. Yeah. And so they get there, they put out the fire. It took forever because again, there was obviously a lot of flammable material in there. It took a long time. They got it out. When they went into the house, they discovered a family lived there, a man, a woman, and their 2 children. The wife had been shot in the head. The children, not even quick shot in the head, had their throat slit. And the husband was nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found.
Oh, I hope he...
Because he fucking did it, because fucking men are family annihilators. Goddamn assholes would rather kill off an entire family that they've created rather than just get a fucking divorce.
Yeah.
Yep.
What is wrong with people?
And so I think it had like a I really didn't find out a whole lot about
family
this.
Annihilators are financial.
Yeah, I think it had something to do with financial. Like they lived in a nice, Tony part of Scottsdale, maybe couldn't keep it up, or there were some type of issues, or just family strife, and he'd rather kill his whole family than lose them. But the dude was an avid like outdoorsman and like hunter, fisherman, like hiker, like just loved the outdoors. So he disappeared essentially in the northern Arizona mountains.
Please tell me a bear got him or a mountain lion.
So the reason he is on my list is because he is still at large. They have never found him.
No, he's not.
He was on the FBI's 10 most wanted. They still have not caught him. 23 years later, he is, if a bear did not get him, he's living his life somewhere after having done that to his family.
The only thing I can say is probably if he's still alive, no longer in Arizona. That's one good caveat for us, I guess. He would have definitely taken the opportunity to get out of the state without having to use a vehicle or something.
Yeah.
But, no, I like, oh God, that's great. Well, especially like, I mean, it's bad. This is all bad. But like, if you are going to do that to your family, like, are you kidding me? Like, there was no less, like, do you know how horrifying that must have been? Especially because you said he had 2 kids.
Yep.
So the first kid, like, hearing and watching and, like, so fucking scared. I hope that man got ripped to shreds, first of all.
Seriously.
But in the case he didn't, we are definitely going to find a picture of him, and we are definitely going to find a tip line that you can call.
Yes.
So we can at least circulate that, and we'll put that in the notes, and we'll put that
just
on the
in case.
We will. I will definitely be posting a picture, uploading a picture. Everybody, please look at it. Burn his image in your brain. Call a tip if anybody knows anything. I will say, like, there's age progression on this FBI photo and everything, but the dude, like, one of those guys that you just looking at him, there was something not right with him. He's one of those guys with the dead eyes.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh God, how could nobody see this coming? Because
people with those kinds of like faces and looks, just I don't understand how other people can look at them and be like, oh, but they're probably a good person. No, they look creepy as shit. I don't want to go anywhere near them.
Well,
and they're all over the place.
Is like, half the time, I don't think it's they're a good person. I think half the time it's like, oh, well, they're prestigious in some way. They're good at their job. They're good at this part of the community.
Pillar of the community.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then, I mean, do we know anything about the family situation? Was it just like he snapped? Did it ever come out that she was trying to maybe leave and that was the impetus? Or
you know what? I couldn't find anything about that. I think it was like, you know, I don't think there was like on paper an imminent divorce or anything like that. Maybe they were heading that way, but because he's never been caught,
we just don't
know. Like it's all,
and they may not release those details until he is caught.
Yeah,
because there are some things that they don't release to the public until well after they've caught.
Well, that's true too. They might, well, even just trying to get confessions, like they might need it they're holding on to it in case they can catch him in a lie. Like, oh, we know we found XYZ. Like, you would obviously know that too. So, well, Amy, what a fuck topic.
Yeah, right? But I had to put it out there because I'm like, oh my God, I cannot know about this guy and not tell everybody about him. Like, everybody. No,
I think that. I think that's respectable, especially like, I mean, right now our platform is, I think we're the only ones listening to our but but
I got a like on TikTok for it. It's fine.
Oh, hot damn. I'm not on TikTok, so it wasn't me.
And it wasn't Polly either. So
it was probably Cheyenne.
That.
Was it Cheyenne?
No, it was someone with a picture of a cat as their profile.
Cool. Cool. Well, whoever you are on TikTok, we love you.
We appreciate you.
Yes. Love's a strong word. I don't want to give you the ick. So, but no, I do think that's a good opportunity is like, there will be unsolved crimes in our areas and bringing those to light, I think is valuable. So, kind of hate that I know this now, but at least hopeful that we can help spread the word. So thanks, I
recognize the name. So I'm sure I had heard about something somewhere, but I did not recognize it at all in terms of like someone escaping into the fucking woods.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard I don't think I heard this covered. Granted, like we would have been pretty young, but you know,
that's true.
I don't think I remember this case at all. It is weird thinking like how long ago the 2000s were. I know.
I don't want to feel like 20 years ago was the 90s.
Yes, yes. Like we're very young, you know, like I'm a young folks for sure, not a 30-year-old with a toddler and a mortgage. So
I'm a 30-year-old who thinks they're still in their 20s, but also talks about themselves as an old woman and complaining of back pain.
Yes, yes. I'm a 30-year-old who thinks I should be in my 60s to 80s. And just really reminiscing about the 20s. Does that count?
Absolutely.
Well, I'm just old. I'm just flat out old. So.
Oh,
no, never. Wink.
It's hard
but
to
I'm
say
out,
too.
So...
Exactly. You don't act like you're older, which is probably why we hang out so often.
I know.
I was gonna say I don't even act like I'm an adult.
We do, frankly. No.
Yeah.
Well, yes, I'm in another lovely Phoenix hotel doing a staycation. Viewers, my goal is to travel all over Arizona in the summer and stay in some fantastic little staycations and be pampered. So we'll see how that goes.
I love that. I love that for you. I am saying, I mean, circling back just a little bit before we hit to Joe's topic, like, I am saying, like, sometime this fall, don't know where it has to be. We can, like, workshop, like, cool little places, but, like,
yeah,
I think we should do a haunted hotel of some sort, and I think we should do a ghost hunt.
Yes.
Coincidentally, Jerome has a fantastically beautiful hotel that's supposed to be haunted. So
the Jerome, Grand Hotel is fucking adorable. I loved it. The one, like, I went there on a vacation with a friend a while ago, and we stayed overnight for a couple of nights, and we were in not the most haunted room, but the room next to it. And our first night there, we just heard this continuous, like, scratching on the walls and banging. And the next morning, we were getting out of the room to go check out the town. And this couple comes in and they're like, oh, we're staying in that room. And someone just told us it's the most haunted room in the hotel. Have you heard anything? No one was in the room.
No.
Oh my
God.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
And the headboard for the bed we were sleeping in was right up to the wall that we heard the scratching noises on. It was so creepy.
Oh.
That's very creepy.
But would stay again.
And plus, like, as I covered, there's also actually quite a few little inns around Jerome too. So there are many,
that's true.
Many haunted. If your whole town is a true ghost town, then apparently you just get your pick of the haunted bedroom.
Exactly,
so.
Right? I love it.
All right, Joe, I'm done blabbing. Tell us about Monoliths.
Monoliths. So this ties in more to, like, my August episode, which at this point we've already recorded, so you guys know. And if anyone hasn't heard it yet, spoilers, aliens. So, and it came about more specifically because as I was doing this story and just in the last week, I kept seeing news reports pop up about monoliths. So, I don't know if you guys recall, but back in late 2020 to early 2021, there was this appearance of a series of metal columns reported across the globe.
Oh, I do remember that. I do remember, because I remember the jokes about, like, COVID really is the apocalypse. Like,
yes, like aliens are showing up and putting these here. But they started calling them monoliths. They were usually these, like, silver-colored metal structures, about usually 10 feet tall, made of metal sheets, put into, like, a prism shape. And the first one that was, I'll say, discovered, possibly also the first one placed, was found in Utah in a red sandstone slot canyon in northern San Juan County. It was found by some state biologists on November 18th of 2020, who found it while they were in a helicopter surveying the area for wild bighorn sheep. And they actually used Google Earth for this very first one. I don't know if they did for any of the others, and we'll talk about those in a second. But they used Google Earth to determine, looking at images of that area over time, that it was possibly placed roughly between July and October of 2016. So it sat there for like a good 4 years before being discovered, essentially, and becoming this sort of social media craze.
That's got to be remote, right? Bighorn sheep in Utah, that's got to be a remote canyon.
Like, I can send you guys.
Would be really hard to get to.
Yeah.
There we go. I sent you guys a link in the Discord to the actual Utah Bureau that has a bunch of images.
I remember these. I remember not liking these.
Yep. They've even got a video on there somewhere sort of towards the bottom of the page of these guys that were the biologists. They're in like their jumpsuits. And you can hear them like laughing and joking about it. And, like they made jokes of like, if one of us goes missing, we know why, because we found this weird thing out here.
Love those stress jokes you make only with like you've worked with for too long. Yeah.
So it's interesting.
It is. Did these So I remember the talk about these, and I remember the speculation afterwards that they might be some kind of art installation. But was that ever confirmed? Do you have that in your notes?
I do. So
okay,
after the Utah discovery, which again was thought to be placed there in 2016, discovered 2020.
Okay.
So a few years went by, but after that one, reports emerged on social media of more of these similar metal columns being found again across the globe, like all over North America, South America, Europe, Central America, Asia, India, everywhere. And some of them, out of these like over 200 that were reported, some of them were, they were revealed to, I should say, people took responsibility for them. Some were artists that installed them because they wanted to sort of like be part of the kitschy craze. Like it's a really interesting moniker, and like the art installation in Utah, we still don't know who placed that first one in Utah. It also disappeared without a trace, essentially. Same thing with some of the other 200. So not all of the 200 ones that were found were taken responsibility for by artists.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Some of them were also businesses that took responsibility for it because they were doing like promotional things. But there were quite a few of them. Yeah, there were quite a few of them, though, that had no one that came forward about them. They disappeared almost as quickly as they appeared. And again, no one saw anyone installing them or taking them out. And I have a couple of instances to mention here of just how weird these got. So, for example, there was one in Austria. There was a series of them in different places in Austria between the 6th of December of 2020 and the last one in February on the 7th of 2021, which appeared in a snowy field without any tracks leading to or away from it. So it was just boom, bam, there. No tracks, no nothing after like heavy snowfalls. Like no one had any evidence around it of someone putting it there. It just appeared overnight. And again, disappeared pretty much just as quickly. Most of them disappeared within like a few days to a couple of weeks. Some of them got removed by like local authorities. It's just real weird. There was one in Finland in a town called Virat. I hope I said that right. I may mispronounce some of these. Because again, they're found all over the globe and I am not a linguist. This one was found on December 12th of 2020, and it was found in the middle of a protected field. So there was like fencing around it, and still no one knows how it got there. No one knows how it disappeared either. There was one, where is it? So there was one in the Netherlands in a town called Beneden Leeuwen on December 8th of 2020. Someone complained that it was too close to their house, which, like, fair, and the authorities removed it. Literally the next day, in the same town, but in a different area, a new one showed up.
And nobody knows either one?
Wasn't the same one. The authorities had the original. It just, boom, popped back up. Like,
I don't like
Ugh.
that. I don't like it.
Do you know how did you say, did I just like not hear how big are these things? Because
They-
About 10 feet ish.
Yeah,
10 feet-ish.
about 10 feet. Some of
storing
the
this much
like,
metal.
exactly,
a
and
story,
all across
yeah.
the globe at around the same time. The first one discovered was again the one in Utah, November 18th, 2020, but pretty much all around the same time frame, mostly in December, between like December 4th, 5th usually to like December 29th. So all within a short span of time, these are popping up all over the globe, all over the place. And yes, social media was a thing. Could have been people, and we do have reports of them being like artists and others in communities.
Copying
like
it.
there was even a town that built their own just so they could be part of it. It wasn't like for promotion or anything. They just thought it was fun. An entire town put one together.
Yeah. That was the COVID years. Like things were getting a little crazy. So.
Just you were looking for anything to do to occupy yourself.
Anything to do.
Yeah.
Let's build monoliths.
But also, so do you think like
Scary.
the first one was placed and like whoever or whatever was responsible for the ones that have not been claimed by anybody? Okay, so this is my theory. First one's placed, 2016. They're like, I'm just going to make as many more as I can until it gets discovered, and then I'm going to pepper them all over the fucking place and really fuck with people.
Yeah.
Like, they were just like in some
Maybe.
warehouse, just making all the rest of them, waiting for that one to be discovered. And in my mind, it's like, I'm going to go, this is going to, like, I'm picturing, like, remember Phineas and Ferb, the bad guy, Doofenshmirtz? Him with, like, a helicopter with, like, a magnet under it, just, like, magneting these things in somewhere and demagnetizing and dropping it and then flying away. Yeah. Yeah, like, in my mind, this is absolutely what's happening.
Or does he have like accomplices? Like he's like shipping them to different people around the
Yes,
world, and
yes,
then he's
yes.
like, "All right,
Which, like,
at this time."
again,
go.
Could have been because social media is a big
That's
thing.
wild.
World, like global shipments and everything. But again, because there are some really weird ones where we don't know how they got there. And I even have more on here. One in Norway on
Mhm.
December 7th. Reviewed CCTV footage of the area that it was placed in. The time that it was placed was a time cut out of the video. Yes, someone could have done that,
What
but
the what?
no one has any evidence that anyone tampered with it. There's one in
Ew, I just got
Poland
the
on the
chills.
9th of December.
I did too. I don't like that.
Oh, it gets worse.
Oh, no,
There's
I
one-
don't know.
It gets worse.
I don't want to
There's
get
one.
worse.
We
But
started
it
with
does.
signs and we're ending with signs.
I know.
All right, tell us all the heebie-jeebies, Joe. Just get it over with.
All right. So there was one in Poland. It was found on a nature reserve on the 9th of December of 2020. The area later was fenced off due to possible increase of radiation around it.
What the?
What? Why? How?
Exactly. There was another
No.
one in Romania, November 26th of 2020, which was very soon after the discovery of the first one in Utah. It was placed illegally in this area near Dacian Fortress, which is like a historical site. So it was under investigation. People were watching the area very closely. And it disappeared one night, and locals mentioned there was a bright light pointed towards the sky the night it disappeared.
No, there wasn't. Mm-mm.
No. Mm-mm.
I don't like
They
that.
I don't like that at all. I don't
I
like
don't
it.
like that one.
Yep. And then going back to the United States, there was one in Massachusetts in Quincy on December 19th. There was a crop circle of snow around it, and it disappeared less than 24 hours later. They say stolen in the article because they think someone removed it without, again, anyone seeing or knowing. They don't think that because of the pattern of these being around for at least a few days that it was removed by whoever put it there, if it was put there by people. So they called it stolen. And then there was one in Arkansas in a town called Eureka Springs, found on December 13th of 2020, which funnily enough, that site that it was found on is used for an annual alien-themed music festival. And all the entrances and
is.
exits to the property were monitored by cameras. There were no time skips in these ones, but they did not catch anything. It just appeared the next day.
Mm-hmm. So my Doofenshmirtz theory is the best one so far, is what I'm hearing.
Or aliens. Yeah, it's either Doofenshmirtz or aliens.
Could be.
I think that's... but it's
I
one
do
of the
think
two.
the one thing to mention about it, though, is that I don't see any reports of people saying that this material was magnetized. So I don't know that it could have been, like, flown in that way. And they were also
Be a claw machine.
hollow.
Big old claw machine.
But something like that would theoretically, like,
Crumple.
maybe leave
Yeah.
dents in the material, and there
Yeah.
really weren't any in the images that were seen of all of these different ones across the globe.
And they
So-
were like single panel sides, right? Like not compiled together. It was like at least each side was a full panel. So
Yep.
it's not like everybody at the whatever music festival
Like brought
snuck a
separate
piece in and
little...
made their own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So-
Ooh, I don't like that.
I don't
Yep.
like that
And
either.
that's 2020 to 2021. Died down after like May of 2021, I think is the last one I saw placed in that time frame. However, we are now getting to modern day. It's now 2024, and we have had 3 more appear.
Nuh-uh. I don't
Yeah.
like that.
When
I've had
and
enough.
where?
There's like so much shit going on right now. I don't need aliens. Okay, I'm gonna just
I know,
throw that
right?
one out there. Not
Don't
to you,
we
Joe.
though?
Just to the
Don't we
universe.
though?
Like,
So I'm going to put another
I think
link
I talked
in
about
the chat. It's got some old images, and then when you scroll down towards the bottom is where it gets to the new images of the new 3 from 2024. But the first one for this year, 2024, was found in Wales on March 14th, which
Mm-mm.
I think is kind of weird because that's around the time we started talking about starting this podcast. So again, synchronicities. And
but not
Amber's
the
like,
good
shit, why did I
way."
talk about that? And then there was
Joe
one
bringing
found,
it full circle.
Yep.
Two full circle, thank you.
The second one was found June 17th of this year in Las Vegas out on a hiking trail. It did get removed. If you look at the images of the old ones compared to the new ones look like a different material, like very mirrored material. So I think the concern
It
there
almost
was like,
blends in, frankly.
yeah, you're in a desert, you're on a hiking trail, it blends in, or could reflect sunlight and start a random fire. Like,
Yeah.
I could get that.
No, that's a good point. Yeah, for sure.
But the latest one was June 25th, and it appeared
Oh,
in
dear.
Bellevue, Colorado. Again, on a random hiking trail. All of these appeared just on random hiking trails this year. So they're again appearing in these sort of random, off the beaten path areas. And
So-
a lot of the ones from 2020,
Joe, go.
2021 that were the weird ones that like no one could explain, those ones were also for the most part placed in like random middle of nowhere or like off the beaten path places. So some of them again from a few years ago, artists, businesses, random townspeople took responsibility for placing some of them, but not all of them. Some of them also that maybe didn't get people taking responsibility for them had like weird scriptures written in them or something that showed like that had to be humans, but not all of them. So,
Can I just-
So do you think
Say-
it's like some weird conspiracy of like all these like really hardcore hikers that are like, oh, if we place it, they're all in all these weird random places, like it's gonna get people out,
oh my
like
God.
climbing mountains and hiking and enjoying nature just to see if they can find a monolith.
Pokemon
Which I would
Go
not
for
do.
Alien fanatics.
Exactly.
That would
I don't
be
want to find one.
Really weird. But
That'd be really weird.
I think because of the safety concerns they quoted, specifically with the Vegas one from this year, I think if it was like some sort of intense hiker group that was doing it, because it would have to be someone who was an intense hiker or was using a lot of machinery to help get them out there, that they would have known better than to use a mirrored material
Yeah.
that could cause
They would've thought it
fires or
through.
have it like sort of disappear out in the middle of nowhere where people could accidentally run into it with ATVs or something. Like,
Yeah,
it could, but it also kind of doesn't make sense. So
very true.
who knows?
Valid point. Valid
Could
point.
be aliens. Could be a conspiracy theory. Could be reptilians living in the center of the earth. Who fucking knows?
I will say, just because you brought it up with the March one and us talking about this podcast, the other two June dates, I think, are both dates around when we recorded.
So are you saying we're causing the monoliths now?
I think so. I think it's either those dates or like we recorded like the day before.
I think we recorded on those two dates.
We did batch episodes for July.
Yep.
So if you want any other super weird synchronicities, and this, we're in tune with the aliens. We're calling them, something in this podcast is calling them down. They're listening to this frequency, and they're like, no, they just want to shut us up. They're listening to this frequency, and they're like, we gotta go stop them from talking about us. They're gonna get to us eventually, and we can't have that.
Or did they see the debate between our presidential candidates and be like, we
now's the time.
Them.
Yeah, now's the time.
They'll vote for one of us for sure.
Probably.
I mean,
man.
Awesome.
But yeah, so Monoliths, they're coming back, people.
Woo woo!
I'll
keep an eye out for
Monolith.
More news articles.
Can't wait. I can't wait for the updates.
Oh yeah, a few updates. Like a few mixers throughout the year are just going to be Monoliths round 2, round 3, round 4, and then eventually it'll just be Joe reporting live on our new alien overlords, and it'll be great.
live streaming about Monoliths nonstop.
That's why they're paying attention to this recording. They want humans that are going to have good intentions with them.
Yeah.
To be their reporters.
We need a PR.
Yeah, got it.
So
They're like, this chick supports the weird and wonderful. We're gonna go with her. We're gonna latch onto her.
She's very task oriented. We've got to,
and not just in her dating life.
Aww.
I'm teasing. I tease.
Well, it's again fucking getting off topic a little bit here, but maybe maybe not. Maybe the men that are on these fucking dating sites that are hitting me up are fucking aliens trying to see what they can get away with.
Yeah,
and not a lot. I can tell you that.
All research.
But yeah, fun stuff.
All right, monoliths, and synchronicities, and fuck that guy. I blocked his name. I hated it so much. I blocked
it out because he's the worst fucking human being. Or one of them. There's a lot of bad human beings.
Robert Fisher, I believe. Robert Fisher.
Okay, Robert Fisher.
Such a fucking bland white guy name, too.
Yeah.
Yes, but I have a very bland white girl name, so like, let's not point fingers too bad, because
but you didn't annihilate your entire family. So
I know
you don't have the creepy dead doll eyes. So
okay, that's it. I was just gonna say, like, let's not profile based on bland names, because like I think if you closed your eyes and like if you just had a lineup of millennial white girls, like
Actually, it's Robert William Fisher. So am I like imagining things, or do like really bad killers always go by all three names? Like all three names. Like I don't go throwing my middle name out there on a daily basis. Yeah. You know what I mean? But they always seem like they're known as like with that middle name.
Yeah.
So
maybe that's one of the tells is like if you know.
So if anybody introduces themselves,
all three names up front, you have to mark.
Be like, whoa,
it's a red flag. Wow,
we're done here.
Especially and four names is like a real problem if they slap on like a double middle name, or even just like a junior, senior, or whatever at the end. Like you don't want that. The third, no. Fuck right.
We're done with this.
Good Lord.
All right, ladies. Well,
I think that's pretty much wraps it up.
Wrap. Yeah.
This has been a fun as always chat. Once again, I'm Amber.
I'm Amy.
And I'm Joe.
And this has been our Murderous, Mysterious, and Macabre monthly mixer. So if you liked this episode along with some of our other episodes we do, then make sure to review and share our show. If you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe, like, and don't forget to comment about what Joe's dreams mean so that we can get to the bottom of all that flooding. And if you like what we do, and want to help us cover more mysterious, murderous, and macabre topics, then consider joining us on Patreon, which we will link in the comments below. That's a wrap for July, I think. Oh, wait, no, we might have a special little bonus app coming out because we have a 5th Wednesday in July, and we post these on Wednesdays. So keep an eye out for one more little special July treat, and then it's back to our regularly scheduled content in August. All right. Bye, ladies.
Bye.
Bye.